Hello everyone, this is the Southern Hellenic and I am back with another video. So this video is not about my path or about books or anything like that. This is the anniversary of the Martyrdom of Hypatia. I read an article about her and I can't pronounce her name. She was the woman that was killed with oyster shells and her limbs pulled out and paraded around the street, which is really, really sick. But of course, everybody in the soon-to-be Middle Ages was sick. So I was reading this and I found out that she was not young as she was depicted in the movie. She was actually elderly, and they basically ambushed her while she was riding on a chariot, and they killed her at a temple that was a former temple that was a former temple to the emperors. So basically, it was a temple that was used to venerate the emperors. So, so in the article, it stated that after her death, the intellectual heart of Alexandria vanished, and it fell into known as the Dark Ages, which is true. So, what made her so dangerous to the church? Well, first of all, she was declared to be a witch, which is actually the first time that you had this charge labeled upon an intellectual, and not just the woman that was down there in the basement brewing up concoctions to kill people. She was very popular with moderate Christians. Those were the same Christians that were actually attacked by the church for being too friendly with their neighbors. That believed in the teachings of Christ, the love and loving your neighbor, and and all this wonderful stuff that supposedly is part of Christ's teachings. And a lot of the moderate Christians were her former students, so of course they had a thing for her. They liked her. She was smart, and people like smart people. Of course, there's also people that actually go after smart people. In the case of this. So she was an intellectual, she was a mathematician, she was an astronomer, and she had a lot of support. So there was these monks that, in the end, the emperor even didn't like. And they would go around there and they would kill people, and they would tear down temples and kill more people and massacre people and rape people. They probably did that too. And they were such a menace that the emperor himself didn't like them. And he was like, yeah, go away to the desert. Get away from people. I don't like you. You're gross. And so when she was killed, the philosophers ran for it. I mean, they literally just fled Alexandria in droves. And of course, the Alexandrian philosophy school was shut down. And of course, that was the end of all the intellectual stuff. So what ended up happening was they succeeded in small part in erasing her from memory. So the only time you actually heard about her was through Christian historians, that a lot of other Christians are kind of like, that's really gross, and you were really disturbed. I mean, they were literally disturbed. His Christian historians were probably the most disturbed people ever, because they were actually speaking from a very, very dark and evil place. So when you have these men who are writing this history of the church that are praising the death of this elderly woman because she was smart, because she had support within the Christian community, and of course the Jewish community as well, you kind of wonder, where are they at? Because there has got to be a place in wherever for people like that. So her name was forgotten. So how do we know about her? Well, simple, because they wrote about her. They praised her death, and historians did their research, and they discovered her, and they discovered about her life, because probably somebody wrote it all down. Probably wrote it down and hid it. That's just my theory. So we have this woman who is elderly, who is killed, and she's literally ripped apart by Christian monks, and her body parts are paraded around the street. I'm pretty sure the average human being was really disturbed by this, and I'm probably sure children were disturbed by this, but they had no morals and no ethics when they did this. When you murder someone in such a barbaric and nasty way, I mean, worse than when the Israelites in the Bible did what they did. I mean, they didn't rip people's body parts off and, hey, here's a hand. They didn't do that. They just freaking killed them. Of course, the Bible doesn't actually say what they did to him, because apparently that's really bad form. But we know what they did to her because it was written down. So, sorry, I got like phlegm in my throat, so if I keep on doing that, please pardon me. I got phlegm in my throat. I don't know where it's coming from. So her name was forgotten for over 1,400 years. So we, as modern Hellenics, we honor her and her accomplishments, and we also mourn her death. And we go and we vow to become these new intellectuals, and we do these things in her spirit and in her honor. And so what I did today was I actually poured out a libation of water on the ground in her honor, and I didn't choose a particular spot. I just found some grass and did it that way because I like it to go back to the earth. And and I make a vow that I will learn and grow and as a Hellenic, and to hopefully be as wise and intelligent as she was. So, but we burn black candles or white candles or blue candles or whatever color candle you want or have available in her memory. And we make the vow that, yes, ancient Greek polytheism is gone, but we are the new Hellenics. We are the new philosophers and thinkers and people that, use our logic and reasoning to make these good decisions and not be the barbarians that killed her. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, be blessed. Bye.